So the real estate sector which you excelled in is also a lot of having to deal with government and bureaucrats and constantly having to deal with laws and regulations. What did you learn about trying to push the legal boundaries, change laws, and who was the toughest political cookie to crack?
Would you believe in my life, by and large, except Bansilalji, who I respect dearly, I respected, and I want to put on record, he was a great chief minister of Haryana. But
he troubled you a lot.
Yeah, for a reason. Na?
Party mein gussa ho gaya.
वो तो एक छोटी सी वो थी, but he had principally he was against private sector coming into urban land development. He told me several times, छोड़ दे इसको. मैंने कहा मैं क्यों छोड़ूं जी, ये तो करेक्ट चीज़ है कि नहीं, ये गलत चीज़ है. चोरों की, मैं कहा चोरों की तहत है, मैं उनको चोरों की जगह उनको अच्छे लोग बनाऊंगा. तो it carried on for 15-16 years. He kept on issuing warrant arrest against me. Then when his son died in an air crash, I went to Bhiwani. He had 2 heart attacks. He was sitting. First time I know over 1,000 people. Second time I went after 3 weeks. There were 4-5 people sitting around him. अरे भाई तुम तो आए थे पहले भी. मैं चौसा मैं आपकी इज्जत करता हूँ. फिर उसके ऊपर उन्होंने कहा कि भाई केपी मैंने भी कसर नहीं छोड़ी आपको डंडा लगाने की, और तूने भी ये कसर नहीं छोड़ी अपना सर को नीचे करने के लिए. आज मैं कहता हूँ भगवान को मैं गलत था. केपी आप ठीक थे, आपने ठीक किया, डेवलप किया, एक बात. नंबर दूसरी बात है आपने कभी गलत काम नहीं किया. So my way of working with all the political bureaucrats was with humility. But one thing I will say, by and large, most politicians and bureaucrats I found, if you explain to them nicely that whatever you are asking is not for you, no. You are a byproduct. It is good for the society, good for a common man, good for the country. If you can prove this systematically, other thing follows. So for me, when I got involved, I had to prove it to them that your policy of banning private sector from development in 58 may have been with some intention at that time, but time has indicated that that was the wrong policy. And I had this equation to go to Chief Minister. Fortunately, Bhajanlal was a very progressive man, very, very progressive. So 6 o'clock in the morning, as usual, I'll land up the Chief Minister's residence. Except Bansilal, I had this much privilege to sit with them when they are lying in bed, just got up, first tea with them. क्यों? वो मेरी इज्जत करने लगे. तो मैंने उनसे कहा चौधरी कहने भाई आज के भी आज क्या लाए हो. मैंने कहा आज मैं एक ऐसी चीज़ बताऊंगा आपको जो आपका स्टेट का भविष्य बदल जाएगा. Then he told his secretary, arrange a meeting at 11:30. Minister, Commissioner Planning, Town Planner, all jig-bang about 16-70 people, all there. I was alone, and Chief Minister's residence, Chief Minister's office in Haryana on the 4th floor, and with a very large window on this side, very big room here. So she called everyone. अच्छा भाई केपी बताओ इनको सबको. I said मैं कहा देखिए आपके सब लॉज में आप 11th फ्लोर तक करते हो, मुझे चाहिए 30 फ्लोर. तो ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता. क्यों नहीं हो सकता? तो भजनलाल was so intelligent man. इसे भाई हो इनको समझाने दो क्या चाहिए. कि जी मैंने कहा ये आपके लॉज में 11 फ्लोर है वो गलत है. आप उसको 30 में सब्जेक्ट टू एविएशन एंड ऑल कंडीशन उसमें आपकी ओपन स्पेस होंगी. देन उसके नॉर्म्स को हमें बनाने दो. तो नहीं ये नहीं हो सकता. तो वन चीफ टाउन प्लानर का नेम वाज चोपड़ा. आई रिटन माय बुक, यू साइन इट. तो क्या साहब ये तो हो सकता है. उन्होंने कहा भाई चोपड़ा साहब क्यों नहीं हो सकता. कि जी बात ये है कि 11 फ्लोर तक एक्सेप्ट कोस्टल टाउन इंडिया में यही परमिट होता है. अच्छा भाई क्यों परमिट होता है. कि जी हम सेफ हैं, अर्थक्वेक हो गया, फायर हो गई, दैट काइंड ऑफ थिंग. 11 फ्लोर तो सेफ है. अच्छा देन ही सेज अच्छा चोपड़ा साहब आप इधर आ जाओ, ये मेरे राइट में बड़ी विंडो है, मैं 4th फ्लोर पे बैठा हूँ. अब यहाँ से आप कूद जाइए. अगर आपके घोड़े ठीक रहे, मतलब ये तो इसका मतलब केपी सिंह बकवास कर रहे हैं। और अगर आपकी नींद में कुछ चोट आ गई तो 11 इतने ही हैं जैसे 4 हो। इसे जेंटलमैन, फॉर गॉड सेक, समथिंग ही इज ब्रॉट अराउंड, heaven would not fall on the earth. Let's try an experiment. I said, make an education, make a knowledge city, make it this. So that is on that basis this was allowed, and it took 4 years to master plan changes. My impression of working with bureaucrats and politicians was very good, but you have to explain them things properly, that it is in the national interest, or not for you only.
So much of life is just about chance, providence. You know, I read how you were in the fields in Gurugram and Rajiv Gandhi's car got spoilt, and you know, a chance encounter led to you having a connection which made this vision possible. Otherwise the laws won't allow that, and I see you capitalizing on every opportunity that life throws your way.
Accident of life, like you so-called providence, that's true. My impression is very visionary man. That's what he wanted, Gurugram to be a green city, and he said, yes, why can't we do this thing? And thereafter what followed was, he only enabled my meetings with Haryana power to be, all the position. And here, Arun Singh, he was the main man who saw into it that it needs regulations, needs allowing people to go vertical. Actually, you see in his interview, we have seen Mrs. Gandhi had entrusted to him. There was a big controversy, whether allowed or not allowed, this area. Fortunately, they were enlightened people. They said, yes, it should be allowed, and enabled my meeting in Haryana. Thereafter, it followed.
What is amazing is how painstakingly, from arranging marriages to for farmers' children, to trying to convince them, to creating prosperity with them, you dealt with land acquisition in a way very different, because farmers usually get very restless. They don't want to sell their land, that's all they have. And yet you want to ensure that they have enough money for the future rather than blowing it up on lavish cars and, you know, fancy things.
So, you know, I was blessed with a great mentor in my life called George Hoddy. I learned from him, and Jack Welch, both of the people, that go thoroughly, you should have ability to do a deep dive into every subject, which means find out exactly. So when I made a deep dive, how can I buy land? It came out clearly, you may pay any money. You may pay one farmer, the farmer will ask more money, impossible. You have to earn their confidence. So I developed a plan of action, and I was consistent. I knew that it will take me maybe 10 years, which I did. We went thoroughly into each aspect of it. They wanted grooms for their daughters, I arranged it. Set up, a colonel was in charge, find out where the grooms are within the commutable distance. All kind of things were done. They wanted mechanical farming, some land towards Alwar. I arranged through Pusa Institute for them. Means you become one of them. It takes time. So word went in the farming community that there is one guy called Kaptan Saab who will do anything to make us prosper. That enabled me to have interaction with them. So both put together, and this was quite a lot, compliments to my late father-in-law, who after independence did this thing. He gave plots to farmers and ensured that they share his prosperity. So I also carried out that whatever I do in my life, whether farmers, whether selling plots, selling apartments, the policies must be such that we share prosperity with me. And that is what the DLF brand is all about.
You've led such a full life. Is there anything else which you haven't done so far which you want to do?
I do wish to tell you honestly, Indian at the top level realize that if you don't attend to urban infrastructure the right way, commensurate with the growth happening, growth will happen. Imagine third largest economy in the world. Today we are fifth or fourth. What is going to mean the infrastructure? All the roads, water supply, drainage, migration of people coming, you need mass transportation. It's a completely different subject. That, in my view, for the government, should be the topmost priority. Let's take what was happening to environment today, AQI is high. Do you realize it is is a silent killer on your children, silent killer on you. That worries me. Not that I can do anything. At that time, you ask me what worries me. But मैं तो लाइफ जिंदगी में वो होता रहा चलता रहूँगा करता रहूँगा मैं तो अपनी I enjoy my life my way. And I do hope by my talking, by airing things, and do hope media joins me in bringing this factor that this must be set right for the better health of the country.
Oh, absolutely. All our children's lives depends on that. As you've said, you've lived your life by your rules, for taking out time, for sharing your learnings, your regrets, and for living life the way that you have, and for really setting an example for everyone who's watching. I'm inspired, and I'm sure others are too.
May I also give you a piece of advice?
Dassaji.
You are going to be a hell of a golfer.
My God. I'm much more of a tennis player than a golfer.
I saw your 2-3 shots.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
You have inbuilt hand-eye coordination.
That's very sweet.
So my advice you will be, you'll succeed more in life. Start playing golf also. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Delightful time. Thank you.